As we head into the beginning of the new year, there is cause for concern. The last years have been pretty rough, but not as rough as they will be in the near future. Certainly, Canada has had a very sluggish economy and is slowing down even more. There are clear signs that Canada is headed into a recession. How deep of a recession, we cannot predict at this time, but we are definitely going to feel a lot of pain. When we look to see what triggers a recession, we can look at multiple triggers, but for the most part, we have these key metrics. The first one is loans. Are they harder to get? Are interest rates higher than what is affordable? The next is manufacturing. Is manufacturing in decline? Are orders being canceled, put on hold, or worse? Job losses is next. Are jobs in cyclical sectors in decline? Are there job losses in retail environments? In Canada, the answer to all these questions is yes. But what about Alberta specifically? Again, the answer is yes. If we look at the world and our biggest trading partners, they too are hurting. Japan has lower than expected GDP and has entered into a recession already. The UK is reported in a recession. China is teetering on economic recession. Germany is also feeling a lot of pain and could be coming into a recession. And the United States is about to enter their biggest recession in recent decades. All of this affects Canada and Alberta as all large economies are contracting, and it will be impossible to weather what is to come. We will not be able to avoid a recession. All fiscal stimulus has been depleted since COVID. COVID loans to small businesses are being called, putting even more stress on small businesses, the engine of the economy in Canada. Bankruptcies last year, coming into this year, are up 75% already for both small businesses and individuals. And the federal government, their policies against Alberta and the oil patch specifically, is very concerning. Inflation is also destroying Canadians, and many are falling to use food banks and are going homeless. The consumer is not going to help resuscitate the Canadian economy. Level records of immigration couldn't boost the economy last year. In fact, many of those new immigrants are returning to their own countries because they simply do not see a future in Canada. 2.2 million new mortgages this year will be set to renew. Now, that is a lot because they have to renew those mortgages at a much higher interest rate where some people can't afford it. That means a flood in the housing market, with people losing money on their homes, and homeowner debt is far greater than the Canadian economy as a whole. If you are thinking about buying a home anywhere, I would tell you to hold off. The high prices will most likely go down considerably. We have already seen this trend south of the border, where house prices are falling faster than Trudeau's popularity. Currently, Alberta home prices are being propped up by one thing: interprovincial migration. People from Ontario and BC specifically are trying to find somewhere cheaper to live. But because of the incredible amount of people moving to Alberta, the prices have gone up considerably, making an option to move to Alberta a weaker case. Rent in some areas has gone up 20 to 50%, where house prices are going up to levels unseen. But this bubble will burst. We will talk more about this in an upcoming video. So, what can we do to help ourselves out of this recession? Well, the government may have to stimulate the economy further, perhaps invest in projects and companies themselves, but where do they get the money to do this? It's a very tough situation because we are taxed to death and we don't need any more taxes or debt. The next idea the government may have is to boost the population through immigration. With an expected 1.5 million new immigrants over the next 2 years arriving in Canada, the government thinks that these consumers will boost the economy. But there is a problem. Canada is accepting huge numbers of immigrants with no other plans in place. Where are these immigrants supposed to live? Are they expected to rent an apartment upon arrival for $4,000 a month? Are they expected to pay $2,000 a month for groceries, more than they did in their originating country? Will they be able to afford transportation and the insane costs of insurance in Alberta? And where will they find work during a recession? The workforce will outpace demand and increase the unemployment rate beyond 8%, putting even more strain on social programs. Perhaps not such a good idea for both Canada and the immigrants. So, what do you think will happen in 2024? Will things get better, about the same, or worse? We'd love to hear from you. Post your comments below, and thanks for watching.